Well, joining me to discuss the International Women's Day is Fatma Karume, a renowned Tanzanian lawyer. Good to see you, Fatma, and thanks for your time. Congratulations, it's another beautiful day, another anniversary, but tell us what makes the African woman, concerned about this, theme.
Well, I think if you compare African women to European women, we're still very, very much behind with respect to our rights. We really do not have the same educational opportunities that men do in Africa. I want to speak specifically about Tanzania. Until recently in Tanzania, if you were a girl child and you got pregnant whilst in school, you wouldn't be allowed to go back to school. You would be automatically expelled from school. This changed recently by virtue of a decree issued by the president of Tanzania, who's presently our first female president. But again, for those of us who advocate for women's rights, we still think this is not good enough. We need more than just a pronunciation issued by a president. We need the law to change. We need girl rights to be implemented in the law. We have other issues as well with respect to marriage of young girls. In Tanzania, that is still happening. These forced marriages of very, very young girls, which make these girls slaves to their husbands and their families, and they are unable to finish their education. So this has to stop. In Tanzania, we have activists who went to court. They won a court case to ensure that girls are not forced into marriages at young ages. The legislature has refused to amend the law. These are the sort of concerns that we have on this continent. And statistically, what we have seen, I was speaking to a friend of mine this evening, and he said to me, when he was in school, they started off as 50 students. By the time, and there were roughly 50-50, 25 girls, 25 boys. By the time he finished secondary school, there were 11 students, 1 was a girl, 10 were boys. This is happening all over Africa. So we need to address why girls are not finishing their education.
So Fatma, let me jump in here and see if the theme for this year's International Women's Day, which is gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow, will help drive some of the concerns you just shared. With 70% of the 1.3 billion people living in conditions of poverty being women. So how can the world, or rather the continent, reverse this trend?
Goodness, that's a $60 million question. I think we all know that the first thing we've got to address is education, equality with respect to education. We've got to address equality with respect to opportunities. Without equality of opportunities, we will not be able to address poverty amongst the female population. I think also we have to address the girl child being married. We have to address sexual violence against women. This causes a cycle of insecurity in women. I mean, an example is in Tanzania, we have a lot of girl children having to go and pick up water, collect water from water sources. And they become prey to people who wish to sexually assault them. And we have to develop our country, our continent, to protect young girls, because they are being used to be the carriers. We are using young girls to also collect firewood, and create energy for our continent, much, much more so. than the energy that is being manufactured by our utility sectors. So we have to protect these young girls from being preyed upon. This is very, very important. Governments have got to get water to the villages. They've got to get energy to the villages.
Basically here, Fatma, development is also tied to some of the concerns, that the girl child is going through. But again, quickly here, you talked about education. And if you look at your president, it took a woman president to reverse, one very important aspect of the concern as it affects the girl child in Tanzania. It brings us to our policymakers, politicians, and of course the key actors. How can we have more people who have the whole idea and ideal to push and fight to ensure that these anomalies are reversed?
Look, I was watching your program and I saw the women being very active, and they were bringing attention to the things that are important to women. And I really enjoyed that because without being active in this way, men forget that we're there. Unfortunately, when I look at Tanzania today, I haven't seen women going out or being organized to go out and demonstrate in this way to our lawmakers. So it's really refreshing to see Nigerian women fighting for these rights and bringing attention to the cause. Because so long as we don't bring attention to these issues, lawmakers are not interested in looking at issues which the society as a whole do not seem to concentrate on. So as a society, we have to bring attention to the plight of women and the girl child.
Fatma Karume, many thanks for your time.
Thank you.